Michael, I'm just going to talk for a couple seconds and I'll
Okay.
turn it over to you. Yeah, so just a little bit about the organization. We are in our 42nd year of having an annual conference, 42nd year of being in existence. And it's been a long journey. And we differentiate ourselves by having really in-depth papers and presentations for people that practice QA, not consultants and vendors and so on. So all the talks that you're going to hear today are really hands-on type of talks from people that are working in the trenches rather than just rather than consultants. Not that consultants or vendors are bad, but that's the focus of our conference. Here's the agenda for today. As you can see, we have a really great lineup of speakers. One of them that I'd like to point out in particular is Sophia McKeever. Sophia won one of the Best Speaker Awards 5 months ago. So Sophia, please stand up. Stand up, Sophia. All right. All right. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of preface the talks and talk a little bit about why we're here. And as you know, change is accelerating, right? So the ChatGPT stuff is just amazing how fast things are going. And I don't know, so we have changes in technology, right? They're accelerating. We have changes in the way that we work, right? The way the business is done. And then, of course, we have changes in the environment, all of it accelerating very, very quickly. And I got this kind of paradigm of 3 accelerations from this book called Thank You for Being Late. Has anybody read this book before? It's a fantastic book. So I'd highly recommend it. It's really great in explaining things and the way things are going in the world and why things are happening the way they are. I'll skip over that, but how can we adapt all these changes? And rather than adapting in evolution by getting stronger and growing, bigger hands or teeth, we have to use our brains, right? That's how we adapt. And some people think that Darwin said the strong survive, right? Or survival of the fittest. But that's all wrong. It's not really survival of the fittest. It's not really the strongest that survive. It's really what he said was that those that adapt to change are the ones that survive. So you can see those pictures there. These guys are doing really well, right? Cockroaches, rats, raccoons. They're doing really, really well because they can adapt to change. So adapting to change requires really proactive learning. And so one of the things that holds us back from learning, what do you think is one of the things that holds us back from learning? Anybody have any ideas? Come on, Moss.
Time, priorities.
Time, priorities. Anybody else?
Fear.
Fear. All right. That's right. The thing is that we are wired to prioritize fear. We're wired in an evolutionary perspective to prioritize fear. If you see some nice strawberries at your feet versus a bear over there, which one are you going to prioritize? That's why we prioritize negative news. That's why it grabs our attention. Because that versus strawberries is evolutionary, what we want to pay attention to. And in one of my talks a couple of years ago, I mentioned this book here. I think it's even applicable today in terms of Who Moved My Cheese. I made a talk called Who Moved My Test Cases. And what it really involves is letting go of something that we already know and getting rid of our fear or overcoming our fear to let that go, to move forward. And when you think about it, our learning has really changed over the last few decades. We used to go to college, and then when we get out and we would work for some company like IBM or State Farm or something for 30, 40 years. And we would rely on that knowledge that we learned in college. And we built some other broad competencies along the way. But now we're expected to keep learning deeper stuff, new things all the time, right? So that That's really a change in paradigm, and that's why PNSQC exists, right? To help us, to support us in learning more stuff, to help us survive in this age of acceleration. And I really think that we really need to somehow release some of the things that we think have worked for us in the past and grab on to new things. And I've recently read this book. And one of the things I like to do is I like to give away books. I like to read paper books for one, because paper books I can give away after I'm done. And a lot of the things that I just mentioned here were based on this book. Mistakes were made, but not by me. Who has read this book? Anybody have read this book? No? Okay. Who would like to get this? Okay. All right. So with that, oh, by the way, oh, I forgot. Did everybody fill out a raffle for the book? Michael has written a book called Software Testing Strategies, and he's giving some copies away. Co-wrote. So if you want to get a copy of Michael's book, please put your name in the raffle.